Last week on the channel, I shot out 4 microphones against the Neumann U87AI. And that was a blind shootout because I wanted you to form your own opinions. But it is my turn. And I want to tell you which one I ended up buying. I already own this one, but I ended up buying one of the other microphones. And I want to tell you which microphone I thought was just absolutely overrated. Let's get into it. So, of course, we're going to start with talking about the U87 because it is arguably the most famous microphone in recording history, and it's an industry standard, which, let's talk about what that means.
It's known, not just by the name, but with engineers working with it. I mean, a lot of engineers know what to do with it. They're like, oh, yeah, there's that honk, there's that, whatever. I know exactly how to deal with this. So it's easy. It's like cookie cutter. Like, I know the mic. I know what to do.
I mean, think about that. Like, Pro Tools is the industry standard DAW. I know, roll your eyes with me. I'm a Cubase user, but like, it is the industry standard. Does that mean that it's the right one for you? No. Just same thing with microphones. It's a case-by-case basis. And so I really want to interrupt the thought process that gear exists on a spectrum of good to bad, right? Gear honestly exists on a much more fluid spectrum of there's no such thing as a good microphone or a bad microphone. There are microphones that you have figured out jobs for, that you like those microphones for those jobs, and there are microphones that you have not figured out a good job for yet. That is the reality of microphones. And so when someone's talking about the U87, does it sound good? Yeah. I mean, of course, but it depends on the use case. For vocalists, it's hit or miss. If you have a mid-range heavy voice, this microphone may not work for you. If you have a sibilant voice, this microphone may not work for you. It works pretty well for acoustic guitar sometimes. It works really well for electric guitar cabinets. It works really well as a room mic, and it works really well, in my opinion, as a voiceover microphone. There's a reason why NPR uses this microphone for all of their voiceover, right? But that begs the question. Is the $3,750 Neumann U87 worth it to you for your use cases?
It's a good sounding mic. You can't say it's not. It's just that it's not, $4,000 sounds good, or however much it is in US.
Right. Yeah. What would you say is a fair price to put on the microphone?
I would say I would pay $1,500 US, maybe on sale $1,200. I would price it at the price of a TLM 103, which should be priced at like $500.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with both of those takes. Absolutely. Yeah, I used to say that the U87 is a great $1,200 mic.
Yes.
But the problem is that it doesn't cost $1,200. Yeah.
No, it does not.
So did I end up purchasing the U87? No, I don't have that much money, to be totally honest. And on top of that, too, one of the things that we always tend to forget is that studios exist for a reason. Studios exist because they have all the cool stuff that we want to use, and we can go to those studios to use those creative tools to capture what we're trying to capture, right? It does not make sense for me to buy this because if a band approaches me and says, hey, I want you to record our record, well, I am going to find a studio that we can both go to, that I can pay the studio their day rate, the band will pay me my day rate, and we will have access to all of their tools. And if I need a U87, they will have one because it's an industry standard. And if they don't, and I make a special request, they can get one. So no, I didn't buy this microphone. So next up, we are using the United Studio Technologies UT Twin 87 on the vintage mode is what I'm using right now. That's actually one of the things that I really like about this microphone. I am a big fan of microphone manufacturers trying to give you more for your money. Of course, that is awesome. I love that they're doing that. So they have one capsule in here, but 2 entirely different circuits that you can choose from with a switch on the front. You can go modern or you can go vintage. So the modern sound is a little bit brighter. It's got a little bit more air on the top end. And then vintage, it's a little bit darker, but also a little bit vibier. There's this thing that kind of happens in the upper mids that gives it that character, which I was a fan of. Now, comparing it to all the other microphones that I used in the Shootout, I think it fared really well. I liked it on the acoustic guitar. I thought it actually did bring out some characteristics that I enjoyed. I liked it on the vocal, and I liked it on the voiceover as well. I think that it sounds pretty good. Honestly, I did not buy this microphone either. The reason why is because I already own the Dachman, and because I own the Dachman, it gives me that vintage U87 sound. So if I need that, I've got a microphone for that already in my personal collection. It would be redundant for me to buy this one just to get that same sound. So no, I didn't purchase this microphone, but I would have no problem recommending this microphone to anyone. I thought it sounded great.
Because originally I was going to say, like, I did not have high expectations for the United one, and I was really surprised how good it sounded on a vintage. On the other mode, it was fine. But when you went vintage, it sounds like, ooh, that sounds really good. But I think I agree with you about it sounds a lot like the Dachman.
Yeah, it does. It gets that character there, like in the capsule. I think it's the capsule that's making the biggest difference between the two. Circuitry and like character sounds really similar, but like the capsule, I feel like it has a little bit more in the air frequency in the UT than the Dachman does. The Dachman does have kind of a roll off, but it's really pleasant how it rolls off.
It is. It is.
But the UT Twin, it just extends that out quite a bit, and it just takes it all the way through the human hearing range. And so, like, for that, I actually really like what it does. So remember at the beginning of this video, I said there was no such thing as a bad microphone. There's just a microphone that you have not figured out a job for yet. I have not figured out a job for this microphone, to be totally honest. Like, when comparing it to the other microphones in the Shootout, this one always left me wanting something more. It's something I could fix in post-production, but why on earth would I purchase a microphone that needed a recovery mission, right? It's interesting because it has this character to the upper mids that reminds me of an SM57. And I know you're going to think I'm crazy, so I broke out an SM57 so we could compare. But listen to that 5K, 7K range, right? So that upper mid range and the character of that range. And now listen to my voice through the SM57 and listen to that same 5K, 7K pushed out range. The character of that mid-range sound is interesting how similar it is. Honestly, it left me wanting to use an SM57 instead of this microphone. Last couple things I need to mention. It is a gain-hungry microphone. I'm at 75% gain on the A-Designs P1 preamp that I've got over there. All of the other microphones in the Shootout needed 50% gain, 60% gain tops. Like the U87, I think, needed the least. It was like 45% gain. But this microphone needs 75% gain. It is gain-hungry, which is surprising because they do talk about the fully discrete components, the Cinemag transformer, the Fairchild transistors, all those types of things. They're very proud of the components. It was very gain hungry. Last thing I need to bring up as well, forgive the handling noise, but this microphone, quite literally on half of my microphone stands, it'll just slide right off. So I've actually been, and slide right back on. I've been nervous during the shot and trying to keep this thing balanced perfectly so that it doesn't slide off or anything. But it's half of the mic stands that I've got in my studio. It does not work with the mic stands. It literally slides on and slides off, and it does not catch when you spin it around. None of the other microphones had this problem. But this microphone, this shock mount, on this mic stand and two others that I have in my studio, it literally did not fit. It just slid on and slid off. That is nerve-wracking for me. So for those reasons, I can't recommend this microphone to anybody. It just did not impress me. And of course, we're going to talk about the Dachman Audio DA87 SE. Now, this is my personal microphone. I bought this with my own money back when this channel only had like 300 subscribers or something like that. If you followed this channel for any length of time, you've seen me use this over and over again. I love this microphone. I think it sounds great. I love the character that it gives in the upper mids. There's just a sound that it has that's so pleasing. And I think a big part of that is a lot of the components that are put into this microphone are top notch. Like, this microphone company actually started as a company that was importing parts and hand selecting parts and selling like DIY kit builds and mic mods. And then they started manufacturing their own microphones using that information that they had learned. I love that.
I mean, they're really, really good microphones. And I don't know if you ever had a chance to open one up, but all the guts are top notch.
And you guessed it. If you haven't figured it out by now, yeah, the Roswell Audio Mini K87, that was the microphone that I ended up purchasing after the Shootout because I was so impressed with how well it performed. Not only in the Shootout, but I've used it a handful of times since I've had my hands on the microphone just as a unit for review, that I reached out to him and I decided to make the purchase myself because it just sounds so good. Here's the thing about Roswell. Now, it's a super interesting company. Matt McGlynn, the owner and the builder of the microphones, very passionate guy, by the way. He also started micparts.com and recordinghacks.com, so websites that you have undoubtedly gone to if you've ever thought about modifying a microphone or just any sort of like recording techniques and forums and stuff. You've been to those websites. He started those. And then he took all of the knowledge that he had gained from that and started Roswell Pro Audio. And it's these passionate microphone builders that are making amazing microphones for the price. So Roswell mics definitely making a splash. You know, would you say in general, are they as good as the internet describes them to be? Or is it?
Oh yeah. I have a couple here. I should have actually used one. I should have used one tonight. I don't know why. Anyway, I have a couple here. I have the Mini K67X and the 87, the Mini K87. And both of them are really good microphones. They're solid microphones. Do they sound anything like a 67 or an 87? Absolutely not. I mean, the Mini K87 is like rounded and big, huge bottom end to it, eh? Like it's got that extends really low and it's really full. And the U87 is not full.
No. And that's why I bought this microphone, because it's not an 87 style microphone, really. Like, I have my Dachman, which gives me that vintage style U87 type of sound, right? But this microphone has that extension in the low end, and it's got all that open, sparkly top end that I really enjoy. All the while, it gives me neutrality and accuracy, which is usually something that I seek out from like a small diaphragm condenser, which is one of the reasons why I got this. Because if I am hearing an instrument and I want to record it the way that I hear it, like in the room, I'm going to reach for a small diaphragm condenser because it's going to give me that accuracy, right? This is going to also do that, but it's going to have a different flavor because it's got that large diaphragm, so it gives you that larger than life kind of tone. I love that. I want to get another one so I have a pair. And you know, the thing that's so interesting about this microphone as well is that it came in a close second behind the U87. I tallied all of the votes from the comments section. I wasn't even asking you guys to vote. You just let me know which one you liked, but I tallied it up. And the U87 came out first, but the Roswell was right behind it. And I tend to agree. I think it performed exceptionally well in the Shootout. Right underneath the Roswell, we had the Dachman Audio, and then right below that, we had the United Studio Technologies UT Twin 87 in vintage mode. Then we had the Warm Audio and the UT Twin in modern mode, kind of tied for last place. Which I actually agree with those rankings. That's probably in general where I would have put them as well. But nonetheless, the Roswell, it sounds incredible. It's such a great bang for the buck. Highly recommend if you're interested in this microphone or any of the other microphones. I will put the links to all of them down below so that you can check them out yourself. And special thanks to the Time Preservation Society for just hopping on a call and talking shop about microphones with me. That was super cool. If you guys haven't done so yet, just go over to his channel and hit subscribe. He makes a lot of really good stuff. Listen, if you liked this video, I have a wild concept, but you could hit the button and like this video. Comment down below. Do you agree with the rankings of all of the microphones and how they landed? I mean, you can't really argue with the court of public opinion, so... but let me know, what were your rankings down below? And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, then you have to. I command it. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next one.